years. We're happy to consult with you on your auction plans. Let our selling experience work for you. Call McPherson Auction 605-348-1369. Visit us on our web at mcphersonauction.com.
At Dakota Bank, we're more than just a place to bank. We're your neighbors. From everyday banking to home mortgages, insurance, and trust services, we're here for every step of your financial journey. We believe in doing what's right for you because we live here, work here, and care about our communities just like you do. Go with confidence, go with trust, go with Dakota Bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Insurance and investment products are not FDIC insured, may lose value, and have no bank guarantee.
Okay, ma'am, just a few rules to follow for your new windows and doors.
Okay.
No washing.
For how long?
Forever. No shades, no furniture within 4 feet of the window.
How am I going to do that?
Yeah, I'd stack your furniture in the center of the room, and after the first rain, stay away from the window.
You're freaking me out.
There's no need to be freaked out about installing new doors or windows. Renewal by Andersen has installed over 100,000 windows and doors.
Oh, and don't lean on the window. We wouldn't want you falling out.
I can't lean against the window?
No, you can lean, just don't put any weight on it.
The guy who sold me the windows didn't tell me that.
Don't know. I'm just a subcontractor for the contractor.
Renewal by Andersen has master craftsmen who follow your job from start to finish.
Oh, and the picture window in the back room, it was an odd size, so we made it a little smaller.
How much smaller?
Yeah, about 5 feet smaller.
Yeah, well, now it's not a picture window.
Well, sure it is, if you hang a picture on it.
Brilliant.
Yep, that's why you pay us the big bucks. By the way, I only take cash.
Make the best decision for your home with exclusive custom-fit Acclaim windows and ensemble doors. Only from Renewal by Andersen. Learn more at rbarapidcity.com.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
And here's what you need to know.
In the NBA, ESPN just reported that the league has proposed to reform the draft lottery by expanding it to 16 teams and by penalizing the teams that finish with the 3 worst records in the NBA with fewer ping pong balls. The owners will vote on the proposal the end of May. If approved, the new procedure would begin with a 2027 draft lottery. In college basketball, multiple outlets reported a short time ago that the NCAA has initiated the final steps to expand the men's and women's basketball tournaments to 76 teams. Tournament expansion could be officially announced the second week of May. And in Major League Baseball, the Philadelphia Phillies today fired manager Rob Thompson. Bench coach Don Mattingly was named interim manager for the rest of the season. The Phillies at 9-19 are tied for the worst record in the National League. I'm Isaac Lowenkron.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, welcome in. Your sports, your show. We're ready to go on a Tuesday. It is South Dakota Sports Talk Show. It is always a great day in South Dakota. We are live on Fox Sports Radio, saying hi to everybody East River, KWSN, Fox Sports Sioux Falls. Welcome in on Fox Sports Rapid City. We're ready to go out of the gate. The Nate Brown Show live on Fox Sports Radio in a couple of places. Check us out on YouTube, The Nate Brown Show. Subscribe to our channel. We'd appreciate it. You've got us on YouTube right now, The Nate Brown Show. Search for us, subscribe. We're live also on Twitter right now, at Nate Brown Show. Follow the show, watch us live, partake in our question of the day, all that good stuff. We are on X, at Nate Brown Show, streaming live right now. And Midwest Sports Plus, you know that, new high school sports streaming app. Hopefully you have it. If you don't, download it, Midwest Sports Plus, and you've got the Nate Brown Show weekday afternoons. What does the Tuesday show look like? Looks good. Looks good. South Dakota, from high school to college to the pros, got you covered. Great guests across the board. Let's look at them. Matthew Collar is in tonight. Haven't talked to Matthew for a while. Vikings insider with PurpleInsider.com. His site, great YouTube channel as well. A little shout out for Collar and the guys at Purple Insider. Matthew Collar coming up on the Vikings Are they interested in a wide receiver who's visiting today and tomorrow? New wide receiver visiting today and tomorrow. What do they got? Dinner plans? I think this guy's solid. I don't love this guy's persona, let's say. But let's see what happens here. We'll get to it. Matthew Collar coming up, PurpleInsider.com, live from the Twin Cities. We will go to Steve Borelli. Steve Borelli's a national columnist for USA Today. There is a massive new youth sports survey that's just been done. 4,000 kids were asked, what do they say about sports in 2026? Kids from 10 to 17 years old. We're talking young into the teens. Steve Borelli wrote a piece on this. It just came out today. I'm going to get into this. Interesting interview coming up. Steve Borelli, national writer, USAtoday.com. We'll go to Denver and get Doug Ottewill on tonight. Nuggets bounced back last night against the Wolves. Are the Wolves in trouble now? I have a hard time gauging this series. I think it's still a tough road for the Nuggets, but I think they got to be feeling good. Backcourt for the Wolves is out. Nuggets are supposed to win this, but they dug a hole, and now the Wolves trying to just get one more. Doug Ottewill covered it in Denver last night. Mile High Sports, he's on tap. And we'll go to the baseball field. Post 22 baseball, one of the all-time great programs in the state. They have a new head coach, a familiar face, but new now to the program this year. His name's Rich Downs. He was back in the program with Dave Plouffe way back in the day. Rich Downs is the new head coach at Post 22 Baseball. We'll get an update on one of the legendary Legion programs in South Dakota. The Nate Brown Show is on. Let's get you in. A lot to discuss today. 605-720-1067. That's our number. 605-720-1067. Hit us on the Pizza Ranch studio hotline, powered by the Pizza Ranch. East 10th Street, Sioux Falls. Also a location in Brandon, home of everyone's favorite buffet. We love the Pizza Ranch and appreciate their support on the studio hotline. Also, the Barron's Wilson text line. Text the show if you want to be a part of the action. You bet. 605-720-1067. That's the Barron's Wilson text line. We are set and we are ready. Okay, let's do the breaking news and get that out of the way. And then I'm going to get to this youth sports study because I think it's really interesting. There's a lot of categories I want to touch, and I'll get to our first guest, Steve Borelli from D.C. So here's the breaking news as we just hit the air tonight on your drive home. The NCAA is going forward with expanding the tournament, men's and women's, from 68 teams to 76 teams. So on the men's side, we've had it 68. We've had the first four, and you started those games early in the week and the whole thing. Now they're going to go to 76. Now, I haven't seen the layout. I don't know if they've come up with this exact plan. What are they going to do? They called it like the first 12. So it would be, instead of the first four, you add the first 12 to the lineup, and they kind of treated it that way. I don't know how this is all going to play out, when they're going to do these games, if they're going to start them earlier. So now we're going to get our brackets. When are you going to have to get your bracket done, on Monday? We can always wait till like Thursday for the most part, because the first four, you're like, well, is this really the tournament? So I have two things on this. I'm just going to line out two things. I also want your feedback right away. If you have a hot take on the tournament, you let us know on the text line or the Pizza Ranch studio hotline. So I'm opening it up to you. NCAA has announced, they've announced, it's just a formality now, so it's official. Next year, this next basketball season, we're going to go in the men's tournament to 76, and they're going to go in the women's tournament. I just saw that, right? I want to make sure that's correct. Women's tournament to 76 as well. So there's two things on this. I am going to tell you, I'm not freaked out. I'm not just going to go ballistic. I'm not going to be going off on a fake tangent. I'm not going to do that tonight, because I'm a big basketball fan. So I got to be honest with you guys. We don't mess around here on this show, right? At least I try not to. I'm just a guy from South Dakota with sports opinions. That's all. Just a goofy radio host, as people have called me. Clueless? Is that what they called me back there? That writer? But nonetheless, I do want to tell you, I'm not going to go on this fake thing. Oh, this is terrible. This is the worst thing. This is going to be absolutely terrible. Are you guys going to complain about this next year at this time? We're just going to be wrapping up the tournaments again a month ago. Are you guys going to be complaining about this? That's all. I don't think I think some of the sports media guys and the social media stuff, some of the old school guys, I'm old school, right? People have said I'm an old man yelling at the clouds. That's okay. I fit all these categories. Old man yelling at the clouds, clueless radio guy. I'm just a South Dakota media guy, and I'm going to tell you, I'm a huge basketball fan, and so I'm not going to tell you this is the end of the world. I know we want to say it should have never done it. We shouldn't have went to 68, and then we're going to yell some more. But they're going to 76. This is ridiculous. I can't believe it. The conference tournaments are going to be terrible. Nobody's going to care about the regular season. What else? What else am I missing? What it is going to be is more basketball games to me that I get to watch that's in a tournament, and I'm not going to whine about it. I mean, I understand the old school mentality. Should have been 64. What are we doing? 68. Now it's going to 76 this next season. That's the breaking news this afternoon. There's going to be better games for me to watch. It's going to be an expanded tournament, and I don't think, honestly, we're going to cry next year. I don't think we are. Am I okay? Are you okay? Thanks for calling. You're live, and you go ahead.
Hey, Nate. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. Pretty good.
Good. So, my question is why? Like, especially on the women's side, there's maybe 6 or 7 teams that could win it.
Good point there. Good point there.
Why are we doing 76 teams?
Well, guess what? You know that answer without you say why. You know that answer. Money.
Because
money.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. Which is kind of annoying. But my question to you, like, this is just a hypothetical. So in European soccer, they have, like, in England, they have the FA Cup. So it's like a season-long tournament where just everybody plays everybody.
Okay.
Where you're accumulating points and go on from there. But will be from, like, let's just say, like, Black Hill State University could play Clemson, right? And if they win, they move on. And in the past, some of those small fish have made it, like, all the way to the final.
Okay.
So,
okay.
I think it would be interesting if the tournament actually started, like, well before March, maybe started at the beginning of February, and just have, like, everybody play in it.
Okay,
if we're going to go to 76, you might as well just have everybody and just shorten the regular season and make it a longer end of the season tournament.
Okay, it's interesting. Coach K had mentioned that years ago. He said, why not just make everybody eligible, and then you just start the tournament, and you just go down to the final teams. He said, put everybody in D1 in the tournament, one elimination, and you're out. Yeah,
exactly. And, I mean, that instead of these onesie, twosie, every couple of years, we add 5 more, add 10 more. Just everybody's in it. Everybody has a shot. We started earlier, and you make more money, great.
Very interesting.
That's my proposal, because we're going to get there anyway. It's just a matter of time.
That's not bad, man. Appreciate you.
Right, hey,
that's not bad. Thanks. No, Coach K did say that. I don't know when this was. They were talking about expanding. Coach K said there's this idea that you should just have everybody in the tournament, all D1. He didn't go down to D2, but all D1 programs. So that would be South Dakota State, USD, North Dakota State, UND. So they'd all be in the tournament. So the Summit League would be a part of the tournament. Every conference tournament is a part of the tournament. So there's that idea. Guess who kills that idea? When the Big Ten and the SEC teams lose in their tournament. They don't want to get knocked out by each other in a tournament. So nice idea. It's dead on arrival. That's over. So there's my 2 things. I haven't given you my second. My 2 things. I'm not going to complain too much about this. We're going to 76 teams. I do want your honest take. Listener text, why do we have to do this? Well, there's more questions why. It is just the money. That's what college sports has become. And it's the last 2 weeks on this show, I've gone over the college football playoff, and they're trying to get that situated as well. And I've told you, what are they going to do there? They're going to double the amount of teams. As a matter of fact, they're going to go from, we started at 4. They went to 12. They're going to go to 24 guys. So college basketball is looking at it going, hey, where's ours? We make all this money now. Can we add a little bit more on the TV side, a little bit more for these big programs? Let's go to 76. And so I understand where people get tired of it. It is the money. So the questions that have come in, well, why would they do this? They got 68. Why to 76? I understand, like the women's tournament, that wasn't good in and of itself because there's blowout city every game until like the final 2 games, pretty much, honestly. I mean, you got to get down to the final 4 teams to have any competitive women's games. It's not going to be great, but I'm telling you, I'm not going to think the 76-team men's tournament is going to end my excitement for March Madness next year. It's going to be called the first 12. The only problem I have there, I do feel like, here's my second thing. I feel like the first 12 will not be a part of the tournament. I do feel like we're only going to think the real teams that are in the tournament actually play on Thursday. Not the guys that are like, hey, we're part of the 76. No, you're not really. So that's going to be devalued, I think. Thanks for calling. You're live, and you go ahead.
I don't know. I'm going to be a Debbie Downer because it seems like money's ruining pretty much all of college sports. But are you excited for Northwestern at 14-20 going into the tournament? I'm not.
Not great. I mean, not great. But I am going to watch tournament games, right? I mean, you're going to watch tournament games.
I don't know. I usually take Thursday and Friday off for the tournament.
You do.
For about 20 years. I didn't this year because I'm just not as excited as I used to because it's all the big money schools winning everything now. You know, all
right.
The Cinderella's gone, and that was all the fun for me.
I got you, man. I appreciate you. Thanks for getting in. I that's an interesting call. He takes Thursday and Friday off, and I had buddies that did that. They say, I'm out Thursday and Friday. I'm going to watch the tournament. He said he didn't do it this year. Last caller didn't do it this year because it's just not as exciting. I thought the first rounds were still pretty good. There was some upsets. There's less. There were some upsets, but there is less. Listener text coming in. You tell me what you think. It's official. NCAA tournament's going to 76 teams. That just hit right as we were coming on tonight. It will be for this next season, by the way, 76 teams from 68 to 76. Listener text, going to 76 teams is horrible. Okay. You guys, so I'm grabbing why you guys think it's horrible. I understand it. The money grab, the big programs. This isn't for South Dakota State to get in. So I just want everybody to be aware of that. I hope everybody knows that. You guys are educated here on this program. I know that. So this isn't for the other schools to get in. Hey, maybe there's more of those bubble mid-major teams to get in. No. Hey, that's dead. This is for more, as the last caller said, Northwestern. No, I mean, that's correct. That is correct. So you're going to have one Summit League team. That's it. Just be aware of that. You're going to have their conference champions at these mid-majors. They're in. But the 76 teams isn't going to get more of the, well, maybe Miami, Ohio. No, Miami, Ohio has to go 30-0. And they made the first 4. So my only complaint, the first 12, if that's how they do it, I don't know when they're going to start that. I don't know if they're going to have just more games. They're going to go Tuesday, Wednesday again or something like that. The first 12 makes it sound like that's one tournament. That's like a play-in. And we're still going to think, well, we're still used to 64. So I just think you and I growing up watching the tournament at 64, that's the real tournament. And I do feel like the first 12, I don't care what they call it. They could tell you it's 76 teams are in the tournament. You guys know in the first 4, It feels like those guys aren't in the tournament. It feels like they're getting hosed. If you watch the 11 seeds play each other, it feels like they're not in the tournament. That's my only rub here. First 12, call it what you want. That's going to be like a separate thing. And then you're going to have your 64 teams starting on Thursday, if that's how they lay it out. So I don't think this is like some magic, hey, better experience more games on Thursday, Friday. We're going to pack even more in here. No, it's going to be first 12, kind of a made-up thing. See bubble teams from the Big Ten, SEC, Big 12, ACC, then into the tournament, and they'll play their way in. We're adding play-in games, right? I'm not going to whine and cry about it. I'm going to watch basketball because I'm a basketball fan. I am a basketball fan through and through. But it's going to be a play-in into the tournament. That's, I think, what we're angling here. One more call. Thanks for getting in. You're live, and you go ahead. You're there? Gone? All right. Coming right back. I didn't get into this yet. I need to with our next guest. So big news on the college basketball side. I wanted to hit that. But I'm going to get into this youth sports survey. So, hey, parents, 4,000 kids were asked about their experience playing youth sports organized in 2026. 4,000 kids. What did they say? Which parents in which sports act the worst? This ought to be fun. Steve Borelli has written about it. He's a national writer for USA Today. He's live from D.C. on the way.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
At Renewal by Andersen, we handle everything from start to finish and beyond. We are your full-service custom replacement solution. Buy one Acclaim replacement window or ensemble entry door and get the second 40% off with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months. Plus an extra 5% off the entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Don't wait. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute, and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to that one. There's a person, a family connection. Federal Credit Union Visa for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
Dakota's Sports Talk Show, The Nate Brown.
All right, welcome back in South Dakota Sports Talk Show. We're live on Fox Sports Radio. Our affiliates, Fox Sports Rapid City and KWSN, Fox Sports Sioux Falls. Thanks for checking in tonight. Hope you're having a good start to the week. Tuesday edition of the program. The Nate Brown Show is on. We'll go to Minnesota coming up. Matthew Collar is in tonight. Vikings looking at a new wide receiver. I do have to admit, I think this guy would be good. He's been a little iffy in certain ways in the past, but we'll see where this goes. He's visiting the Vikings today and tomorrow. We'll see if they pick him up. Matthew Collar with the latest on Minnesota with PurpleInsider.com. He's coming up. Well, I find youth sports fascinating. I'm right in the middle of it. Many of you are. It's a storyline that this guy covers well. He's been in the middle of it as well as a coach, and he's a national writer for USAtoday.com. USAtoday.com. New story up there from Steve Borelli about the new survey from the Aspen Institute. They look at youth sports and the experiences kids are having today, and a survey is out. They did this with Utah State and Louisiana Tech. Almost 4,000 kids were asked about their experience in sports. What does it look like in 2026? Steve Borelli is on tonight. Steve, thanks for coming on. How are you?
I'm doing great, Nate. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Welcome back in. We've had you on before, and I find this one pretty interesting now. I'm going to go over a few things. There's a lot of info here, and we can't touch it all on a segment, but Aspen did this survey of kids 10 to 17 years old, almost 4,000 of them. There's a lot of various sports and the kids having, this thought and these experiences. Well, what would you say when you look at the overview of this? Are kids having fun still playing youth sports?
I think they are. The question becomes, the big, there were a lot of things done in this survey, but the biggest takeaway I had, and for my audience, was just the fact that parents are kind of preventing them from having fun in youth sports. And they interviewed current players, former players, and kids who have never played before, boys, girls, nationally representative study. And really, what you're finding is lots of pressure from parents, and you're finding lots of pressure from kids who have forced them to quit, a lot of them in that 12, 13, 14 range when sports start to get quote-unquote ramped up. When I think organizations like Aspen are pushing, Aspen's a national initiative to get, more kids playing sports, pushing more like intramural sports, which is where really the fun is.
Okay, so here's one thing that I noticed. The survey of kids found soccer players reported the highest rate of parents getting upset about their performance. So that was one of the things I noticed. I'm a soccer dad here. But it was 16% of kids that said, my parents get upset and they get angry when I'm playing. Is 16% a high number? I didn't think it was that high, but what's your take?
I think you have to take it in perspective. I think the fact that kids are speaking out about the fact that parents are getting upset with them for playing something that should be a game, and it should be a fun activity. I think it speaks more to the fact that parents are losing sight of what the purpose of sports is. And you've seen it, everything is so ramped up now from a very early age about putting pressure on kids and chasing dreams that are often unattainable. So I think it speaks more to, yes, that doesn't seem like an extremely high number, but I think if you look inside the numbers, there's a lot of stuff in there that talks about, parents basically making kids feel bad about playing sports in a variety of sports.
Okay, I do want to ask you, when did this kind of go down? You've been in youth coaching. You've seen, people say, well, starting at third grade, we got to get on this team, and we got to get in this club, and we got to start getting in really good at this sport because we got to be good by high school. That seems like the model. Are kids getting left behind in, hey, if we don't pay to be on this club, we get left behind? Is that a factor?
It's definitely a factor. I think a lot of parents feel that way, and it's unfortunate. And I think a lot of stuff that's going on in our society right now is pushing a lot of kids out who just want to play sports for fun. So yeah, there is a certain degree of, concentration on a single sport. I think you have to have in order to make a high school team in a lot of parts of this country. That being said, I certainly don't think that you need to get on a travel team when you're in third grade. I have two boys. They both play varsity baseball. One's a sophomore and one's a senior. My senior is playing in college. We started, I think we would have been fine with starting travel baseball, around the 7th middle school age, and leaving those elementary years to more, fun play, which generates an interest in the game. I think ultimately makes kids better players, if that's what you're trying to achieve.
Steve Borelli joining us, national writer, USAtoday.com. New survey out from Aspen Institute. The results there, he wrote about some of the takeaways at USAtoday.com, a good synopsis of this survey of youth sports kids and what they're experiencing. Speaking of baseball, Steve, baseball players reported the highest rate of disliking their sport due to bad coaching, 33%, and then it was followed by football. Where do coaches land here? A lot of guys and gals are giving up their time. They're doing their best. What's the deal with youth coaches?
Well, I think one of the problems that I've written about also in other columns is that a lot of these coaches are not really qualified enough to be doing what they're doing, and I don't mean in terms of dealing with kids. I mean more in terms of knowing about their sport, in terms of, kind of working in a situation where they're trained and they have, things that they need to do, they can do in drills, and also kind of the coaching model that kind of enforces good play and corrects, but reinforces it and doesn't, criticize all the time. And I think we've fallen into this trap with a lot of these coaches of just criticize. And I think being a baseball dad, being a former baseball coach, there's a lot of standing around in baseball, right? So there's a lot of room for that, and you see it if you go to Little League fields. I've been to little baseball fields all over the region, all up and down the Northeast, into the South. You see it, just a lot of this stuff. Coaches getting really, really upset with their players, and I think there's evidence, from this survey and elsewhere that it's really driving kids away from playing sports.
One of Aspen Institute's things, Steve, is community access, community play, almost like rec. Essentially, hey, we should have rec level stuff for everybody in all sports, and maybe even in schools. We should have intramurals, not just varsity sports. Is that possible?
I think it is. I mentioned this in the story. There was a congressional hearing that actually last December that actually called youth sports, called what's going on in youth sports a crisis. So I think Congress, whether Congress acts or not, Congress is interested in this, and I think they're interested in kind of, I wouldn't say breaking up the travel model, but giving people more of an option. And it really, it's going to take local governments to kind of look into their resources a little bit and say, okay, let's see what we can do here. Let's see if we can get more kids involved in playing, maybe middle school, elementary school even. I think that, maybe just playing some more intramural sports where kids maybe can stay after school. Maybe a teacher works some extra hours to supervise them. And often it doesn't have to be like team versus team. It can just be free play, with a little bit of support and organization, because that's, you and I are probably similar in that we grew up playing that way. And I used to stay after school and play sports like that. So I think maybe if we get back toward that model, it'll kind of help things a little bit and, get kids healthier and get kids more into sports and get more kids playing sports. I think Aspen's trying to get up to, 63% playing sports by, 2030. So I think we're about 9% percentage points away from that right now.
I will say, and Steve, youth sports is a big business, so there's going to be pushback from clubs, from travel teams, from these places that are having a business on youth sports. Is there room for both?
Oh, there's definitely room for both. And I think the problem is that, the club directors, have come in and they realized a void, and they've also realized a way of making money. So, if you look at a lot of these club and travel teams, there's definitely a place for them. I mean, I'm a club parent. Both of my sons play club baseball, and they're on a college track program when they're in high school, and there's definitely a place for it in that situation. But I think when you're grabbing kids, you're having a bunch of different teams. That every kid is a quote unquote club player. Charging parents thousands of dollars at young ages. I think that's where youth sports has gotten out of control. And I think that if there's some pushback from folks, and there's some more opportunities for community recreational sports, intramural sports, maybe we can get more kids playing those, and kind of shift toward more of a travel model when the players who show interest and show talent, by the high school ages can get into those.
Survey finds the average age of players quitting in this one, 12.9, so I'll call it 13. Kids are quitting in this survey at 13 most of the time. That seems young. What is the reasoning for it? Is it the parents on this? Is it I'm not good enough? 13 years old.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is the I'm not good enough. I think sports is so ramped up these days. You have a lot of specialization. You have just a lot. It's really hard to make a high school team, and that's a problem. I know some issues that Aspen has raised. Some suggestions is that having 2 or 3 high school teams, varsity, a JV, and maybe even another team, to get more kids involved, because there's just not enough spots on a lot of these elite teams for some kids, and I think kids just feel like I'm just going to do something else, and whether that's sports or something else, they're just, a lot of kids are not, are opting not to play sports at that age.
Steve Borelli on tonight. Find his work on this. He put a lot together from the Aspen survey that was just out. Almost 4,000 kids surveyed playing youth sports and what they've experienced, the different sports, when they're quitting, what it's all about. Good stuff. USAtoday.com. It's up there right now. Steve, good to have you. Thanks for hopping on.
Yeah, no problem, Nate. Anytime.
I appreciate your time. Steve Borelli, national writer, USAtoday.com. New survey out from Aspen Institute. 10 to 17 years old were the kids in this study. What's their experience in sports? And a good recap and synopsis summary on USA Today from Steve Borelli, who just joined us on the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline live from D.C. There's a lot there, and I'm not going to hit all of it, but here's a couple of things. I said, so the highest rate of kids saying their parents get angry at them playing is soccer. Why do I laugh? Nate, that's serious. This is serious. Well, it said 16% of kids reported their kids get upset with them when they're playing soccer, and that's the highest rate, 16%. I said, wait a second. It's probably about 40% in South Dakota that I've been at. Anyway, 16%? I thought we were doing pretty good then. There's basically only one parent on the team. Yeah, good luck with that. So that was one of them. Soccer said that the parents get upset, 16%. Among the 5 sports analyzed for the survey of these youth kids, basketball reported the highest negative parent behavior overall, though. So overall, they hit 6 of the 8 categories. Basketball parents argue with refs, pressure their kid, focus more on winning than fun, criticize their skills, make their kid feel ashamed about their performance. Boy, oh boy. It's interesting stuff. I would check that out if you're a youth sports parent. Check it out. Aspen Institute's just out today. Over almost 4,000 kids surveyed. Their answers of their experience in sports in 2026, and some of the highlights there of what sports do what and where things are at. I mean, there's some valid stuff there. I mean, I was joking a little bit, but it's definitely ramped up. High pressure. I mean, I played baseball back in the day, but then I played wiffle ball. I just played for my town in baseball, and then some of my best experiences playing wiffle ball in the backyard, wiffle ball tournaments in the summer. Some of my best experiences. And then I played school sports. I come from a small town. I wasn't playing on this travel team and this travel team, so I can't say like, man, at 10 years old, 11 years old, was it a terrible experience? It was not for me. But has it changed today? Is there room for competitive club sports and enough rec sports? And is there enough people to run rec sports? And, you're not going to make a bunch of money. You're going to have schools involved and stuff like that. I don't know on that. So coming right back, let's go to the Vikings. Let's jump to Matthew Collar in the Twin Cities. Vikings looking at a new wide receiver. What would this guy bring to the Vikings, and will they pick him up? Matthew Collar, Purple Insider. We'll start there coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Save big money on your next painting project at Menards. Rust-Oleum's Painter's Touch 2x Cover Spray Paint is the perfect choice for both indoor and outdoor painting projects. It comes in over 100 colors and dries to a smooth, durable finish on wood, plastic, metal, and wicker surfaces. Save big on Rust-Oleum spray paint at Menards. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on menards.com for more great deals.
Save big money at Menards.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good food and good times. Won the big game? Make it a play day. Aced your test? Make it a play day. Just need to get out of the house? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade has all your favorites and all kinds of fun. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team. For good food and good times, make it a buffet day and a play day at the Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade.
Whether you run the race, make the catch, cast a line, pitch a tent, or just look good doing it, Shields Rapid City has your gear. From athletic clothing from your favorite team, cold weather gear to keep you warm, to the best camping selection this side of the Black Hills, and the most stylish and functional women's outerwear and footwear, Shields has the widest selection of the best brands in the business. So when you're ready to get out, get in the game, or get going, get to Shields. Shields, we're right there with you at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
All right, we're talking with Britt Wicked at Elevate Performance Physical Therapy for an Elevate Performance Health Minute. Right now, it's baseball season, and one thing I know with baseball, I hear about this overuse shoulder injury.
It's something that we see a lot clinically. Repetitive motions place ourselves at an increased risk for sustaining an injury, especially if it's a movement that hasn't necessarily been done a lot previously.
And one thing, some people say, well, you just have to rest, but not all the time.
Yeah, so it's good to take a break in a sense. But that doesn't necessarily mean do nothing at all. If you're experiencing symptoms like that and having soreness with throwing in particular, that's a good time to be seen by a physical therapist to try to assess the root cause of your symptoms. You could have weakness in the rotator cuff. We could have some shoulder instability. There's a lot going on with throwing, so it's important to have that thoroughly assessed to get you back on the road to recovery.
Get started at elevateperformancesd.com.
Collins Siding has been the region's premier window siding, door, and gutter installation specialist since 1974. They use only the highest quality materials and never compromise on their workmanship. Collins Siding is licensed, bonded, and their estimates always include labor, materials, and applicable permits and taxes. Collins Siding has been providing top quality service and exceeding high standards for over 45 years, and you can find out how by visiting them at 2016 Cherry Avenue. Collins Siding, 2016 Cherry Avenue, Rapid City.
Everybody knows to have success on the court, your team needs the right strategy. And it's no different with life insurance. Your team at home is counting on you to have a strategy when things get tough. Lee Cruz, agent with New York Life Insurance Company, is ready to help you make sure the most important people in your life are protected. Get a no-obligation, free quote fast. Just Google Lee Cruz New York Life. Don't risk it. Make the right play. Give your family financial comfort with life insurance. Get your coverage options with Lee Cruz New York Life, 605-360-8804. Google Lee Cruz New York Life.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
All right, thanks for being here tonight. The Nate Brown Show is live. You've got us on Fox Sports Radio, KWSN Sioux Falls, your local station. Does outstanding job in Sioux Falls. Great station, KWSN. Also here, Fox Sports Rapid City, the Black Hills sports leader. Thanks for being here. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live. Coming up, we'll go to Denver. Nuggets, Wolves turning really interesting now. Wolves get them back home Thursday. We'll talk to Doug Otto. He covered Nuggets, Wolves, and he's coming up. Mile High Sports. Let's go to Minnesota for the Vikings, though. Draft in the books. Maybe another player getting looked at right now. What's going on? Let's go to PurpleInsider.com. Check him out. YouTube channel's really good. Purple Insider. Matthew Collar on tonight. Matthew, welcome back. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well. You know, after all the entertainment of the NFL draft, there's kind of a letdown period after. Like, can we see these guys play or what? Let's go.
I know.
Let's play some football.
I want to get your take on the first pick because you've been doing a show on this, and I was listening to some of the stuff. So I'm not sure how Banks is going to work out at D tackle. You give me your assessment, and Vikings fans, they want to know if Banks is going to be a guy.
Well, I think that Vikings fans were pretty surprised on the first couple of minutes after Caleb Banks was drafted because he was projected so low by a lot of the draft analysts, like Daniel Jeremiah had him as his 51st best player. I think both Mel Kiper and Dane Brugler had him as their fourth defensive tackle in this draft. So anytime that happens, there's going to be a lot of reaction to it. And, I think that this is one that it just wasn't really that obvious. I mean, I know the Vikings needed a defensive tackle, but there were a few other players on the board that you thought would be much safer and straightforward picks. But, instead they kind of went for the home run here, which is an interesting play because I have no doubt that Caleb Banks is as freakish as any player in the draft. And in terms of like top 10 type talents, that he's up there, but he also comes along with a lot of risk. And, people mention the injury, and I totally believe that the Minnesota Vikings have better medical ideas than NFL insiders, but I also think that, Banks wasn't that productive when he was in college, and he's missed a lot of development time due to the injury. So even if they feel like his injury long-term is going to be okay, is he going to be able to catch up quick enough to be on the field to make an impact, and how much development are we talking before he starts to hit his peak? I think those are reasonable questions, but when you see the highlight reel of this guy just throwing people around, I mean, he's got some of the biggest hands, some of the longest arms, 6'6" and 320 or 30 pounds. I mean, this is one heck of an impressive guy, but I also think that there's a lot of work to be done in his game before he gets to the level where he looks like someone who's drafted in the top 10.
Where would you have gone right there at that first pick at that time?
Yeah, I mean, I look at things maybe a little bit different. I know that everybody wanted Dylan Thieneman, the safety from Oregon. That was not kind of where I was looking because I think that free safeties are a little bit easier to come across. I was looking much more at Mekhi Lemon, who ended up going a couple picks later to the Philadelphia Eagles. To me, wide receiver is the best way to make middling quarterback play into great quarterback play. And even though I think Kyler Murray is going to work out really well in Minnesota, I think we can both agree that he's not in the upper echelon of quarterbacks in the NFL. And, I kind of look at also a long-term play there if they have to eventually draft a quarterback. And with Jordan Addison, we don't know about his off-field, situation because he's had numerous incidents in the off-season where you kind of scratch your head and make you question, like, what's this guy's long-term here? He did have his fifth-year option picked up, but that only takes him 2 more years. And, I mean, this is also a franchise that had 3 deep, with Chris Carter and Randy Moss and Jake Reed, and then, that worked out really well. So I kind of think if there's a pass-catching weapon there, that you should probably go with it and more of a safer, like highly productive player. But I understand their vision for defensive tackle, and truly when you look at the depth chart, there is nothing there. So they needed some immediate help. It's just, how long is it going to take, and will he actually ever get to the peak that everybody's talking about? I think the odds are, I mean, they're not an extreme long shot, but if the odds were great that Caleb Banks was going to be a superstar, he would have been a higher pick.
Matthew Coller on tonight, purpleinsider.com. Find his site there and the YouTube channel. Watch his work at Purple Insider. Search for it on YouTube. So I think, are you going to get your wide receiver? It's not going to be Mekhi Lemon. Are they going to get Jauan Jennings? The Vikings bringing him in right now.
Yeah, I mean, I waited all weekend, and picks went by, and still no wide receiver. So I was kind of scratching my head at different points during the draft of like, are you sure? But, they obviously had at least somewhat of a plan to dip into free agency, and it's important to note that, teams can sign free agents now and not have to give up a comp pick in the future. So that's kind of a big deal there. And the Vikings also, by trading Jonathan Grenard, created a lot of cap space for themselves to look at free agent wide receivers. So that may have gone into their calculus of not drafting one. I think Jauan Jennings for a wide receiver 3 is a phenomenal option. He's got like 120 or 130 catches for the 49ers over the last couple years. He's got great size. He's played a lot of different roles, whether it's been in the slot or if it's been, on the outside. And he's had to be wide receiver 1 at times because every San Francisco 49er player gets hurt often. So, I think that would be a great fit. The question is going to be like, how much money, how long of a contract are you talking about? Because I've got to imagine that now that the floodgates are open when you don't have to give up the comp pick, that there's got to be quite a few teams that are checking in with Jauan Jennings. So does he want to be a wide receiver 3 here, or would he prefer a different team that would make him a wide receiver 2 maybe? I guess that's going to be the question, is how is he going to fit in role-wise? Because over the last 2 years, the Vikings wide receiver 3 position caught about 60 passes over the last 2 seasons. I mean, Jennings he's been quite a bit more productive than that. So with a lot of weapons in the room, not to mention T.J. Hockenson is back, I'm not entirely sure, but I think it would be a great fit if Jauan Jennings did pick the Vikings.
Okay, so you could have Jauan Jennings from the Niners, Addison, Justin Jefferson, Hockenson. Do you think that offense is dangerous with Kyler Murray?
Oh, yeah, I mean, absolutely. Just you don't have to go back that far in history to see, how good a quarterback can be in this offense in 2024. It also is probably part of the evaluation of J.J. McCarthy that he couldn't make an offense with this much talent work out all that well. But, Kyler Murray, look at his last couple of seasons and the receivers that he was throwing to. Trey McBride is a really, really excellent receiving tight end for underneath stuff, but Marvin Harrison Jr. has come nowhere close to the expectations. And then you had guys like, Zay Jones out there who's bounced around, and, it was more like journeyman and, kind of bit players that they would throw underneath to, like Greg Dortch. There just really wasn't a lot that he was working with. So, I think Kyler, the first time he goes and steps out on that grass and throws to Justin Jefferson, is going to be reminded, oh, yeah, that's what it looks like, because it's been a while for him. And, mentioning him, DeAndre Hopkins also might be another guy that the Vikings could consider if Jauan Jennings doesn't come here. He did say that he would be willing to, sign with the Vikings. So I think they're going to add somebody. We just don't know 100% yet. But as far as Kyler Murray goes, he's got one of the best setups in the entire NFL, one of the best offensive coaches in the entire NFL. If he can't make it work here, then he's probably just not that great of a quarterback, because he's going to have pretty much everything given to him.
Matthew Coller is on tonight from purpleinsider.com. Vikings fans hit it. Did you agree with the Jonathan Grenard move? Third rounder this year, third rounder next year. Enough value there. Was it okay to ship him out?
I think they were in a position where they were really forced to do it more than anything, because, Grenard wanted a new contract, which meant that all off season he could have made himself into a distraction. He could have held out through training camp and all that and done that whole song and dance. And the Vikings also wanted to create a path for Dallas Turner to the field, because over the last 2 years when Grenard has been healthy, Dallas Turner has to kind of spot in there in a little bit here, a little bit there, and that's hard to do off the bench. It's not exactly what you want for your first-round draft pick that you traded up 2 years ago to get, that they are very high on right now after the end of last year. And we saw when Grenard filled in when Turner filled in for Grenard, Turner was a different player when he actually got to play the entire game. So I think they saw that, plus the cap space that they can add to the roster, plus some extra draft capital, and said, all right, this is probably the right time to do it. The only questionable part to me is giving him to the Eagles, because, why lend a hand to the Eagles when they're maybe down a little bit at a position, at a key spot on their roster? But overall, I would throw it out there as like, it's the best they could do. I don't think anyone really wanted to do it, but that was just the position that they were in.
Last one, Vikings and the new GM. Do they stay in-house at all, or are they going to go outside here?
I mean, I think there's a really good argument for staying in-house with Rob Brzezinski. I mean, he, from all accounts, did a great job of leading the organization through free agency and through the draft. And I think overall, it's not that sexy of an offseason for the Vikings, but it's a very, get-right kind of offseason with the salary cap, with players that they can develop into the future in the draft, and not doing anything crazy in free agency that could hurt them down the road. But I think that if the front office, wants to be, or if the ownership wants the front office to be overhauled and wants kind of a new look and a new feel and a different direction than they've been going, then it probably won't be Rob Brzezinski, because he's been a long-term employee of the team. So I actually don't have a great feel for what way they're going to go with this, because there's a really good argument for Rob. He is incredibly well respected around the NFL and inside that building, and has the trust of the ownership. But then again, there's sort of what's in the mystery box, right? What's the next GM's ideas that, sometimes it does feel like the Vikings are one step behind. So it'll be interesting, but I actually don't know what way they're going to decide to go with this.
A lot of Vikings news, trying to bring in Juwan Jennings from the 49ers, possibly adding a wide receiver, could be big. PurpleInsider.com for all the coverage from Matthew Coller. Matthew, I appreciate you. Thanks.
Thanks so much, Nate.
Appreciate you. PurpleInsider.com is the site. Search for him on YouTube. Great channel. Purple Insider. That's Matthew Coller from Minneapolis. All right. Vikings and Juwan Jennings coming in for a visit. Tonight and tomorrow. Juwan Jennings from the Niners. Yeah, he's kind of a wild man. He's kind of a wild man. He's got that dyed hair and the Dennis Rodman of the NFL. So I think you want a guy like that on your team. A lot of people don't like him on the other team, but I don't mind those guys. Like Brooks for the Suns, Dylan Brooks. Nobody likes him, but then when he's on your team, you really like him. So, listener text coming in. Vikings can't keep their line healthy, and what do we do? Draft a guy with a broken foot twice. Yeah, I don't know. There's been some D tackles there the Vikings have brought in and haven't worked out. But Caleb Banks, D tackle, big guy, strong guy, fast guy when he's healthy, from Florida, their first-round draft pick. Hey, this is just out today. Sports Illustrated, covering the FCS, they just put their list out today. Which FCS college football team has the most production back from last year? So this means starters, production players, offense, defense. They broke it down. Which teams in the FCS have the most players that have made an impact back for this next season? Where are the Yotes? Where are the Jacks? Coming up.
This is the Nate Brown.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The #1 hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
At Renewal by Andersen, we handle everything from start to finish and beyond. We are your full-service custom replacement solution. Buy one Acclaim replacement window or ensemble entry door and get the second 40% off with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months. Plus an extra 5% off the entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Don't wait. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa, for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
Right now on X. Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
That's right. Welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is live. South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Which FCS programs won't be stopped? They have everybody coming back. Who is it? Hey, let's get into this on South Dakota Sports Talk Show. So Sports Illustrated just put together all of the rosters, and they looked at which FCS college football programs are going to keep building the dream. Building the dream. They bring back offense, they bring back defense, and then they put total production. So this is who has the most production back from last year's teams in FCS football. Hey, where's North Dakota State on the... Oh, anyway. They're not on the list because they're not in the FCS. So let's go to the FCS. Which teams have the most offensive production, defensive production, total production back from last year? This compiled by SI. Coming in at number 30 in the country. It's not a great place. It's better than like number 60. Number 30, USD. So the Yotes have 35% of their offense back, 43% of their defense back, and that's an average of 39% of their total production back. So less than half. You would say, hey, the Yotes last year were in the mix a little bit. You know, Aiden Bauman, some of these key players. So this is all from transfer portal and losing guys. So USD and the FCS is going to bring at 39% of their total production. That's the number 30 spot in the country. And as I said, new coach there, Matt Vitzum. We'll see. That's not a great place to be. How about Illinois State? That would be one that would get your attention. Made it all the way to the national championship on that run. Brock Spack and the crew. Illinois State's coming in at 17th, bringing players back from last year. 17th most production back, 48% of their total production back for Illinois State. UND, North Dakota, Fighting Hawks. We have Fighting Hawks fans that check in on the program sometimes. North Dakota's coming in at number 11 in the country. 56% of their total production of their team last year is back. 56% for UND, and they weren't bad at times. They were not bad. Another team, good quarterback, not a bad team last year, Youngstown State. Youngstown State, 7th in the country, with 59% of their team coming back that made plays last year. So Youngstown State, 7th. Here's a top team, Montana State. Bobcats win the national championship. How many players are coming back for the Bobcats? They are 3rd in the country with the most production back. 3rd, 66% of their total production is back. Number 1 in the country. Wait for it. South Dakota State. Dan Jackson. I mean, I thought a lot of these guys back there would be already doing podcasts about this, but SDSU, number 1, most production back. Jackrabbits have 67% of their production back, 73% of offense back, led by Chase Mason. 62% of their defensive production is back. So you're following this. Very interesting breakdown. SI just put it out. If you want to see the total list, it's all there. 67% of the total production back for the Jacks on a team that beat Montana State last year. Do you remember that? It was a while ago, but they beat them in Bozeman. Then things went south. Mason got hurt, some of that stuff. So South Dakota State, no NDSU in the mix. And South Dakota State, number 1 with most production back for FCS in 2026. Coming right back. I've got to do this. This is wild. This story is wild. There's a high school tonight, as I speak, literally tonight. They're doing like a new way to do interviews for their high school basketball coaches. So you're going to want to hear this. This is a high school in Kentucky who's doing this tonight to try and figure out which coach to hire for their boys basketball position. We'll break it down next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Some people take sandwiches very seriously, like lining up the pickles just so. Seriously? That's why they start with Country Hearth Dakota-style 12-grain bread. Soft enough for your inner child, sturdy enough to hold the works. Turkey and Swiss, roast beef and Havarti. That leftover meatloaf situation? Country Hearth turns every sandwich into a masterpiece because life's too short for boring bread. Country Hearth, the best of your sandwich. At Dakota Bank, we're more than just a place to bank. We're your neighbors. From everyday banking to home mortgages, insurance, and trust services, we're here for every step of your financial journey. We believe in doing what's right for you because we live here, work here, and care about our communities just like you do. Go with confidence. Go with trust. Go with Dakota Bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Insurance and investment products are not FDIC insured, may lose value, and have no bank guarantee.
The Honda Certified Dream Deal sales event is on at Denny Menno Rushmore Honda. Get financing as low as 0.99% APR on Honda Certified Pre-Owned Civics, CRVs, HRVs, and Passports. Plus, shop a lot full of used imports and domestics. Virtually any maker model, including a great selection of all-wheel drive and 4x4 trucks and SUVs. See us at Denny Menno Rushmore Honda or RushmoreHonda.com. Length of finance contract is limited. With qualified credit, expires 4/30/26.
Whether you run the race, make the catch, cast a line, pitch a tent, or just look good doing it, Shields Rapid City has your gear. From athletic clothing from your favorite team, cold weather gear to keep you warm, to the best camping selection this side of the Black Hills, and the most stylish and functional women's outerwear and footwear, Shields has the widest selection of the best brands in the business. So when you're ready to get out, get in the game, or get going, get to Shields. Shields, we're right there with you at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports Rapid City.
What makes a credit union different from a bank? At Highmark Credit Union, it starts with you. We're member-owned, not shareholder-driven. That means our earnings go back to you through better rates, lower fees, and personal service. Unlike big banks, we put people first. You're not just an account number, you're part of a community. Highmark Credit Union. Local, personal, and here for you. We'll make it happen. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Hanging with Brian from Anytime Auto Sales. I see new models of stand-up and teardrop campers on your lot.
Yes, you do. We're proud to feature the new SGC Armor line of campers from Bontrager Outdoors. Bang for the buck, there's just nothing out there like these new super cool Armor campers and Bontrager teardrops.
And the suspension these campers have? Wow, so impressive.
All our campers come standard with the off-road package. Bontrager and Armor just ramped boondocking up another notch. And right now, you'll get the best price all year on these 2026 ultra-light, ultra-beefy, option-loaded campers and teardrops.
You gotta check out these new look campers, people. The new designs are fantastic, and so many options for their size.
And so many options for towing. No need for a diesel or a big truck. These only weigh around 1,500 to 2,000 pounds, so they can be towed by almost any rig.
Check out these new 2026 Bontrager and SGC Armor campers, everyone. See AnytimeAnytime.com, and as always, at the corner of Highway 79 and East Minnesota.
Anytime Auto Sales. One more time.
This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, welcome in. Second hour. Glad you're here. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio, our affiliates, Fox Sports Rapid City, also on KWSN, Fox Sports Sioux Falls. Thanks for making us part of your day and making this show possible. We appreciate you. We're going to go to Doug Ottewill in Denver coming up this hour. Covered Nuggets, Wolves last night. Now the series goes back to Minnesota. Can the Wolves get this done? I think the Nuggets somehow have the edge because of the injuries now. You get down 3-1, it's usually over. I feel like the injuries are key. Nuggets haven't played great. They played pretty good last night. I watched that one. Still didn't, blow them away. It was pretty comfortable throughout. I'm going to get to Doug Ottewill, his read on the Nuggets, trying to avoid the upset of the Wolves. That is coming up. The Nate Brown Show, powered by Black Hills Federal Credit Union, my family's banking partner. I want you to know being a member at BHFCU has been the right choice, no doubt. Great rates on all sorts of loans. Maybe you're looking at vehicle loans. Maybe it's personal, business, mortgage. Take a look at BHFCU. Become a member. I'm glad I switched from my last bank. Experience the benefits of Black Hills Federal Credit Union. Convenience, technology, and a personal connection. Go to BHFCU.com. 18 locations from the Black Hills to Sioux Falls. Easy to get started. Become a member. BHFCU.com. Get a bank that works for you. Okay, question of the day. If you're just getting in your car, you're heading out. If you didn't see this, the NCAA, it's official. They only got one more step. They are going to go to expanding the tournaments for March next year. So if you missed that, I started the show with it first hour, but just catching you up in the second hour. So the NCAA, it's going to be official. We're going to go to 76 teams. And I only had a couple of thoughts on it. I want more basketball. I love basketball. I'm not going to whine. I don't think it's going to be the end of the world. I understand the arguments. Why do we have to do it? You're just going to add more meaningless teams that shouldn't be in the tournament in the first place. And so I understand it. I just don't think it's going to be an emergency next year. And people know that. So the college football playoff knows it. The March Madness folks know it. The NFL knows it. Major League Baseball knows it. What do I mean? They've all expanded the postseason. Every single one of these entities has expanded the postseason because they know we'll be watching. Live sports is the ticket. That's what we're going to do, and we're going to kind of complain on shows like this, I want 64. It should never change from 64. I understand, but it's going to go to 76. I'm going to be watching, but I do say it won't feel like the real tournament. The first games, these matchups like Auburn, who didn't make it, Auburn playing whoever, that's going to feel like a play-in into the real tournament. So you can call it, hey, 76 teams. No, it's going to be a play-in into the tournament, just like the first 4. Instead, it's going to be the first 12. So instead of the first 4, 68, they're going to go first 12 now, take it to 76. That's all it is. But listener text, I love this one. I said, are you guys liking this? Are you upset by this? Is it okay to go to 76 teams? All I got, a listener text, he said, no. And it wasn't no, it was no. So he's not in. But I think you will be watching next year with me, right? You will be watching next year. Before I get to this next story, let's take a call here. Thanks for getting in. You're live, and you go ahead.
Hey, Nate, thanks for taking my call. I'll make it quick, but why not just go to 128 teams? Then you can just play number 1 versus 32, have your 4 brackets, and you're good to go.
Okay.
And
well, don't give them a suggestion. We'll get there soon.
That and one other quick thing with the Nuggets, it's with the streaming service, the different networks. I mean, it went from Prime to, I think, NBC to Prime to ABC. I don't even know where the heck to watch Game 6.
Well, I'll let you know.
I'm sure they'll. Okay, you do that, please.
All right, man. I
Anyway,
appreciate you. I know that. I know that. That is true. That is true. I mean, I'm turning on the NBA playoffs every night. I started NBC, and I'm like, oh. And then my daughter goes, I think it's on Prime tonight. I'm like, good Lord. Where's Matt Kearney when you need him so he could switch to all this stuff? Anyway. Okay. All right. Let me go to this high school story. This is too good. This is too good. But I've got a little different thought on it, and I'm going to get to that. But here's what's happening tonight, right now, in Kentucky. This is at Paris High School. Wow, Paris High School, Kentucky. They put out a notice this week, okay, for April 28th at their auditorium, at their Fine Arts Center there in Paris High School, Kentucky. I don't know what size of school that is, whatever, but they put out a notice to all of their parents and the public that they're having an open listening and questioning session. What would you call that? Q&A? I don't know. They said listening and questioning session public for our parents and anybody that wants to come with the final 2 candidates for the boys basketball head coaching job. Wow. I've heard about parents being involved in the interview process behind the scenes. I mean, we know that happens in South Dakota. So I don't know if you're aware of that. That happens at numerous schools in South Dakota. Parents that are involved in the program are kind of on the hiring committee, or at least they get to do some stuff behind the scenes. Not everybody, but some. So I've heard of that. I'm not telling you that's unheard of. I've never heard of this. Here's the post. Well, this is from Monday. This is from yesterday. We invite the public to attend a meeting with the 2 final candidates for the head coaching position at Paris High School. Come out to our scheduled listening and questioning session with the 2 finalists for the job. Their names are undisclosed, but says meet your next possible head boys basketball. It's like, what do you think that? How do you think that's going right now? Can we have a live stream on that? That's going on right now in Kentucky. How's that? How long is that going to go? You know how meetings go, right? It's like, oh boy, Larry's got another question. Hey, Larry. Hey, coach. What do you think? You think 2-3 zone? What's your philosophy? 2-3 zone or 1-3-1? What I mean, you're going to do full court? What's your philosophy? And then you got Jimmy. Hey, coach, what do you think about? Do you guys want to play my son? Is my son going to play as a freshman? No. I'm just telling you, what else could go wrong here? So you got 2 candidates coming in for this. I don't know. It's like part of the interview, I guess. Meet your next possible head boys basketball coach. And it's an open forum. But here's my read on this. everybody always wants, people are all sorts of coaches. I've seen them talk about this today. This came out. I saw this morning. And then people are like, this is unbelievable. I can't believe this school in Kentucky's doing this. This is unbelievable. Well, guess what? Everybody says parents want to be involved. And everybody says, hey, parents should be involved. And this is what the final line says on this invite. Be heard. Ask questions. Help shape our future. That's a nice line. And what they're trying to do is they're just trying to appeal to the parents. So we can criticize it. We can say, this is unbelievable. This is bad. But in the next breath, we always say, well, parents should be involved in everything. I understand. I'm a parent. I like being involved in education and all of the stuff. I understand. There's got to be decision makers and respect for people that know what they're supposed to do. There's got to be a line there. You can't have an open forum of parents asking whatever. I don't know what's going to go on here. How are they going to choose? You know the line. You can't make everybody happy. That's what it feels like this is tonight. It's like, hey, let's invite everybody in. They get to talk to the new candidates. We get to meet them there. Then who's going to choose? The AD, and then he's going to tick off half the crowd who wanted Jimmy and half the crowd wanted Timmy. So what are you really going to get out of this? Well, they brought us in. They let us talk. I told them I would have hired Jimmy. Well, they hired Timmy. And then you're back to square one. And by the way, the coach, I just looked up this school today. The coach that resigned just now, he resigned after this basketball season. Guess how long he was there? The coach that just had this job, Paris High School, Kentucky. Guess how long he was there? 1 full season. Interesting. That's interesting. Meet your next possible head boys basketball coach. Man, you start doing open forums now in South Dakota. It's not left up to the AD, the school board, the administration. It's not left up to them. Let's get everybody involved and see how it goes. Good luck. Coming right back with Doug Ottewill from Denver next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
At Renewal by Andersen, we handle everything from start to finish and beyond. We are your full-service custom replacement solution. Buy one Acclaim replacement window or ensemble entry door and get the second 40% off with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months. Plus an extra 5% off the entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Don't wait. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
Are there as many kinds of VR? At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we help all kinds of people come together with all kinds of vehicles. With loans made to fit everyone and every ride.
Sports, your show from East River to West River. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
All right, thanks for being here, everybody. How you doing tonight? Tuesday edition of the program, South Dakota Sports Talk Show, from high school to college to the pros. Try and get you covered here. Some great guests across the board and across the country. Let's go to Denver. Doug Ottewill is in from Mile High Sports. He's been a Nuggets season ticket. Well, I mean, he's been a Nuggets guy for a long time, way back before they were even good, way back in the day. Nuggets down 3-2 and going back to Minnesota. Doug, welcome in. How are you?
I'm excellent. I'm hopeful. You know, after last night, we have something to look forward to now.
Okay, so I want to get your read on this. Do you think the Nuggets have the edge with Edwards and DiVincenzo out? They're down 3-2. It's hard to come back anyway, 3-1. Do they have the edge? Would you go that far?
You know, I think they do. I mean, as odd as that sounds, because when they lost Game 4, the way they lost Game 4, I thought, man, this team is done. But they responded in the way that I thought they had to. I mean, they were physical. They did the right amount of bullying last night, I thought. But I think more than that, they're a better team top to bottom when those two guys are out. I mean, I think just from an X's and O's standpoint, you know, take my bias out of it. You lose your best player, and Anthony Edwards is a great player. That hurts, and you could tell that, you know, Minnesota was kind of lacking that guy. I mean, it was Randall, and Randall had a nice game, but I think top to bottom, the Nuggets are a better team right now.
Why is David Adelman, the head coach of the Nuggets, so defensive after every game? I mean, there was a rough stretch. They got down 3-1, and media's asking him questions. I mean, he's been defensive. What's the deal?
Yeah, I think he's been overly defensive. I mean, hey, whatever gets you fired up, Coach. I mean, whatever means necessary to kind of wake up is fine by me. I don't know why, you know, a really reasonably asked question in the post game after Game 4, and then, you know, starting off kind of after last night's game. I mean, I know that reporter. He's not stirring up trouble. It was a very fair question, and Adelman was super defensive. And, you know, I think a little bit of he shows his immaturity as a head coach. I think a little bit of it is, you know, those things that tend to get under your skin are things that are probably right. You know, there's reason to criticize David Adelman. He has reason to say, hey, if we shoot better, we win the game. I mean, sure, but I also think a lot of that is you're not putting your guys in the best position. You're not, you know, you're relying too much on your high pick and roll game all game long. Like that's on coaching, and I think he's a little testy because, you know, he's under the microscope really for the first time in his career, and he's showing it.
Well, how about Jokic? I've loved Jokic. I think he's one of the all-time great big guys. I mean, I've already put him in that category. People say, wait a minute, he's won one title. Well, it was the first for the Nuggets ever. And just his stats, his numbers over the last few years, I said, this guy's going to be he's one of the all-time best big guys. Is his defense a major concern? Does it lower him? Where do you think Jokic is at? I know he had a nice game last night, but people say if he loses this series, that lowers him.
I think it's kind of both. I mean, I definitely think after Game 4, I was sitting there talking with somebody else that watches the Nuggets pretty regularly, and I said, as great as Nikola Jokic is, they got to win this series for this not to be a real, kind of a black mark on his career. I mean, I think it's not that they will lose; it's how they lost if this happens. Because the Game 2 loss, they're up 19. The way they didn't respond to Jaden McDaniels, in basically for 2 straight games. He got to them. And I think, when people start talking about the greatest of all time, you think about Michael Jordan, I think about Kobe, because those guys, they took it personal, sort of like the famous line in Last Night, I took that personally. I think the way the Nuggets didn't respond after McDaniel's comments following Game 2, it kind of gave everybody that, hey, he's a great player, got great stats, but he doesn't have that Kobe or Michael gene.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that he doesn't, but I think that would be a fair narrative because, going and running halfway down the court after you've just lost, 2 games after someone called you out, that's not enough. I think you got to do that 2 seconds into Game 3. And nobody on the Nuggets did. They did it last night. I'll give them credit. So if they do come back and win this series, I think then there's, that story has been a little bit rewritten. That I don't think they have to win a title for people to still think he's one of the greatest players of all time. He is, in my opinion. But I do think the way this series has played out has kind of made people question, kind of that competitive, that championship fire that the great ones had, Russell and Jordan and Kobe and even LeBron to some extent. I never put him in that category because for that very reason. He's a guy that's happier to make a pass than take the shot that his team has to have. And LeBron's a great player. I mean, don't get me wrong, but in my scoring system for greatest all time, the clutch gene, the won't lose gene, that kind of trumps all. And I think I've seen it out of Jokic a lot of times in his career. I certainly saw it in 2023, but to be in that upper echelon, I think you got to show that all the time.
Do you think they win this series? You think they have the edge now? They got a ways to go here, but
I do actually. I mean, I think on paper they match up better, and they're the best team right now with those 2 guys out. I think that last night I saw a Timberwolves team, especially Jaden McDaniels, that looked a little rattled. I mean, I don't care what he says in the post game now. I feel like they got to him. I mean, Christian Brown showed him up. They put him on the ground a couple times. They got in his face. I mean, I still think it's just a little too late. I don't understand why it took so long. But I thought that he was feeling it last night. He felt the heat, and I think they did a great job of that. I was surprised to see today. I think I saw in Vegas the Nuggets are a minus 165 to win it now.
Really?
And Minnesota is a plus number.
Wow.
Which is crazy considering that they're down 3-2 still.
Yeah.
But I think, and then there's always a conspiracy. Me, I'm a conspiracy theorist. You think that the NBA wants to watch an antless Minnesota team play against Wemby, or do you think they want to see Joker versus Wemby? I mean, I think it's it's a no-brainer from the conspiracy side of me.
All right. I opened that one up. You're always ready for that with Doug Ottewill. Live from Denver, he's with Mile High Sports. Nuggets, Wolves, Game 6 coming up Thursday back in Minnesota. Hey, speaking of basketball, I want your take. NCAA tournament is going to 76 teams. I love basketball. I'm not going to complain, really. I know I want 64. It's fine. 76 teams, are you going to complain?
No, I like it. I think it's great. I mean, I like that better than I like the, kind of the play-in round. I hate that. And I could be off. I mean, they may have more of that, but at least it'll be a little more equitable than just random, 4 slots in each seed or in each region, I should say. I like more basketball. I like that. I think, in my mind, the NCAA basketball tournament has bigger issues than the number of teams. I think, NIL has certainly, changed the entire landscape of how that tournament plays out. I think, the transfer portal has changed that. I mean, there's a lot of things that I think have kind of diminished what we've always loved about the tournament. I don't think the number of teams is it, but, maybe adding more teams will help, and maybe that will help spread, quote unquote, spread the love when it comes to the money that's out there, making these teams more even. Or what I always tend to like in the tournament is you get those teams that maybe they're not lottery pick type guys, so they stick around for 2 or 3 years, and all of a sudden they're a good team. So maybe there'll be a few more of those in that 76-team bracket.
Doug Ottewill on tonight from Denver. He's taking in a high school lacrosse game. Lacrosse becoming more popular?
Oh, it's become very popular in Colorado. I think ever since the Colorado Mammoth, the indoor team that's here showed up, I believe it was 2003. The high school and youth side of that sport has really blossomed. It's not one that, I didn't grow up with it, probably a lot like you. It's not a game I'm overly familiar with, but it's a good game to watch. A great game for kids to play.
Doug Ottewill in tonight from Mile High Sports, double duty. I'll get you back to the game, brother. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Anytime, Nate. We'll see what Game 6 brings.
Game 6, Thursday night in Minnesota. Doug Ottewill on tonight from Denver, talking Nuggets, Wolves, milehighsports.com. All right. Doug Ottewill, little high school lacrosse action. High school lacrosse starting to catch a little bit in South Dakota. Seeing guys getting some college opportunities, guys and gals. Little high school lacrosse action. Doug Ottewill he said, I'm okay with 76 teams. Now, I don't know if I said that. Like, I haven't endorsed 76 teams. I'm just telling you I'm going to watch it, and I'm really not going to complain. So it's like, well, I know they're just trying to get in more Big Ten, SEC bubble teams to make more money for those conferences. So it's really, there's not going to be any more mid-majors. There's going to be more like Auburn's, Seton Hall's, like that. So, and I'm not going to be like, more college games. Yeah, I think it's going to be a play-in style, and then you're going to get to the 64, and you're going to see like two different. To me, it's going to be like two different things. 12 teams playing, and then the 64. That's the real tournament. I even do that with the first 4 these days. Like, I don't think the first 4 is the tournament. Do you? I don't. Lister text on going to 76 teams. I've asked you what's your take on it. Lister text, the first games are exciting usually anyway, so it's fine to expand. All right. 605-720-1067. 605-720-1067 on the Barons-Wilson text line. What do you think? News out today. NCAA tournament's expanding to 76 teams. It's gonna be one of those things where the old guys like me are gonna say, "Oh man, everything's expanding," and it has. NFL, Major League Baseball, college football playoff, and it's gonna keep on happening. What do we have? We just got a call. He said to expand to like 128. Just go to 128. So. We'll take a quick call on this. Thanks for getting in. You're live, and you go ahead.
Everybody gets a trophy. How about that?
Well, not quite. But you're going to watch, right?
Well, I'll watch.
Okay.
I won't stream anything.
Okay. All right. So you're okay, but not really. 76.
Yeah, you know, it don't shock me. I mean, pretty soon it's going to be the 64 playoff teams for college football.
Yes. I think you're right. Nebraska will even make that.
Oh, I don't know. My brother went to the spring game. He wasn't too thrilled.
Well,
he's about a homer as you can get with that.
All right. That was my line of the day, man. I appreciate you. That was my line.
One thing, kind of a deal. A friend of mine worked up all state championships in the state of South Dakota.
Okay.
Including club sports.
Okay.
Lincoln. It goes Lincoln, Stevens, O'Gorman, Washington, and for all the Sioux Falls Christian haters, they're in 5th place all time.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And that includes club sports.
Okay.
You know, your baseball, your...
Okay.
But, yeah.
South Dakota stat of the day.
I just thought I'd throw that out for you.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. South Dakota stat of the day. Are we going to confirm that? Lincoln has the most state championships. Lincoln, Stevens second. What do we? I mean, hey, let's look at that. I mean, Matt Kearney has a lot of work to do here. I can't get him down that rabbit hole. I can't send him down that rabbit hole. Speaking of a team that has won titles, this isn't high school, but they've won state titles the most. Post-22 baseball. A familiar face is back in charge. Rich Downs is the head coach. He joins the Nate Brown Show next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
At Renewal by Andersen, we handle everything from start to finish and beyond. We are your full-service custom replacement solution. Buy one Acclaim replacement window or ensemble entry door and get the second 40% off with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months. Plus an extra 5% off the entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Don't wait. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute, and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside. You don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa, for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
Subscribe to The Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
Hey, welcome back in. South Dakota Sports Talk Show. We're live weekdays on Fox Sports Radio across the state here on Fox Sports Rapid City and KWSN. Fox Sports Sioux Falls, The Nate Brown Show live. If you miss parts of the show, a reminder, go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. We know you can't catch all of the 2 hours on the radio each day, so we have the Nate Brown Show podcast. Every show, every guest, from high school to college to the pros. Search the Nate Brown Show on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you get your podcast, and you can get this program. Well, baseball season's here, underway, and Post 22, the program for South Dakota dominance, with a new head coach, but a familiar face, Rich Downs, in charge of the Hard Hats as they get going here. And he's live on the Nate Brown Show. Coach, good to have you on. How are you?
I'm good, Nate. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you. So, you know, I know your history. I think a lot of people do. Been around this program a long time, then weren't. Now you're back. Why are you back?
Well, you know, I tell you what, retirement is great for some. Others got to keep moving. And I heard there's a chance to get back in, and I put my name in the hat. And fortunately for me, we'll find out if it's fortunate for the program or not. But fortunate for me, I get the opportunity to come back to a program that I grew up with, that I played in, that I coached in, and have a great love for. So we'll see where it goes.
What does Post 22 baseball mean to you? What does it mean?
Well, it's part of me. Let's just be honest. I spent 30 years coaching under Coach Plouffe. I played here for 4 years as a player. So half my life has been spent out here at Fitzgerald Stadium. So it's kind of like coming home. So it's that important.
Rich Downs on tonight, Post 22 head coach. You look at this program now; it's still a great program. Some people would say, well, yeah, maybe they haven't won as many state championships. And it's, you know, every year. It was always every year. What do you think's changed about South Dakota Legion baseball? Post 22's in there, but how is it not every year anymore?
Well, everybody else has elevated their game a little bit, I think. You know, and I'm not speaking in recent history. I don't know exactly. I'm speculating some things. We have good players here. We have talented players here. But some of there's some very, very talented players in Rapid City that don't play Legion baseball anymore. They play some high school ball, then they go off on these travel teams. And there's some very talented young men that have chosen to take that route. So if you don't have every single player suited up in your uniform, it makes it a little more challenging. Now, we're not making excuses. You know, we've got some very talented players. We just have to get a little mentally tougher. Understand the fundamental baseball is how you win this. Game starts with pitching and ends with pitching. So if we can get the people up on the hill and play some defense behind them and get some timely hits, we'll be okay.
Post 22 baseball getting underway with head coach Rich Downs. He joins us on the Nate Brown Show, getting an update on the Hard Hats as they get set for 2026 run. So you talked about it, some of the players and fragmented and around. Do you kind of have to sell Post 22 now? What's your message to parents and players?
Well, we want this to be the program. And obviously for a long time it was. And then, yeah, every year, you know, things happen. Everything changes from time to time. You go through some different swings. talent levels change. But you always want to go out and compete and play hard. And if we can do that and play the game hard with intelligence, we'll be okay. We'll be okay. But, yeah, there's more options. There's more choices. And everybody has a different feel for it. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to take a little newer approach next year. The schedule we have this year we're stuck with. It was set before I got hired. But next year we're going to change a little bit. We're going to get our players out in front of some showcase tournaments and things like that. That'll help hopefully mend some of those fences, and some of those travel players will take a look and go, oh, well, hey, I can be part of this program and still get the same exposure, going to these PBRs and the showcase tournaments that they're going to now. And hopefully we can bring some of these players back in. So to answer your question, ultimately, yeah, you're always recruiting. Even way back in the day, we were recruiting. We wanted players. We put on a couple little clinics over at Harney and Canyon Lake, and we want the players to see our players and make them feel at home and want our program to be the program.
Coach, you've been around baseball a long time. You know it inside and out. I've seen you coach. I've seen your teams. Has baseball changed? People would say, well, there's Major League Baseball sure has changed with strategy and how you're trying to hit the ball a long way. Has Legion baseball changed?
Well, I think that's where you get caught. You get caught thinking that, you watch TV and these guys are all concerned about launch angles and spin ratios and exit velocities and blah, blah, blah. And ultimately, you still got to come down. It doesn't matter how hard you throw. You still have to throw spots. You got to hit your spots. You got to have quality pitches. And the key is the measurables are more important to young people these days. And I understand that. That's what gets them looks. They go to these PBRs, and they get measured for their velocity, their exit velocity off the bat, their spin ratio, and that's what attracts coaches to give them a call. But ultimately, the coaches are going to still have to find out, well, what's the non-measurable? What kind of a teammate? How does he perform when it's a tight ball game? Little things like that make and break the difference between, if you're a college coach these days and there's 5 guys throwing 88 miles an hour, they all have similar spin ratios and or hitters that have similar exit velocities. Well, what separates them? And that's that phone call. That's that maybe quick trip to watch a player play and actually see how they perform in a game and talk to the coach and different people like that. So you got to find out what's the character of a player as well as the measurables. So, and I've already fielded several phone calls from colleges on some of our players based on their measurables. And then they say, well, the obvious question is, what kind of student is he? What kind of a player is he? What kind of a teammate is he? Those kind of things. Is he a leader? Is he a non-leader? Blah, blah, blah. All that stuff. So you still have to be able to go play the game, and you have to play it well. And obviously, if you're fundamentally sound, and if you're taking care of business, and you're playing hard, and you're a good teammate, coaches are going to want to come get you. So that's what we want to do.
Rich Downs on tonight, Post 22, head coach of the Hard Hats. Last one, Coach. I'll let you get back to it. What do you see from this team right now? You're just getting going, a lot of season coming up. What do you see as the strength here?
Boy, I'll tell you what, we are a bunch of hard-working young men. These kids work hard. I don't have to tell them to work hard. They're already doing that. We should be a well-balanced ball club. We have good team speed. We're not going to hit with a bunch of power, but because that's team speed, those line shots into the gaps are going to turn into doubles and triples. We're going to hit the big fly occasionally. We've got something, and if our pitching, like I said, game starts and finishes with pitching. If our pitching is able to control the strike zone, hitting their spots, we're going to be pretty good. I think we've got an opportunity. Or as we used to say, we got a chance.
Rich Downs on tonight. We'll talk to him a lot. Baseball just getting going for the Hard Hats. Post 22 head coach Rich Downs. Coach, I appreciate you. Thanks a lot.
You bet, Nate. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Rich Downs tonight on Fox Sports Radio. Post 22 head coach. The Hard Hats getting underway for 2026. Coach Downs back running the program. Who's hot and who's not? Next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Could there be a better name? Auto Value Parts Stores. They aren't just about air fresheners or fuzzy dice. Auto Value Parts Stores are all about parts, auto parts, and advice. Pros who know auto parts with tons of tips when you need them the most. You want real value? Don't go to a place with a cute name. Go to Auto Value. Could there be a better name? I didn't think so. Your Auto Value Parts Store. We've got the parts, we've got the smarts.
Time to get the groceries for this weekend's cookout. You pick out the best quality grass-fed ground beef and the finest all-natural hot dogs. And then you almost blow it when you hit the bread aisle and reach for the Mad Buns just because they're national brand. Don't do it. Upgrade to locally baked Village Hearth hot dog and hamburger buns. They're soft, fresh, and sturdy enough for toppings that mean business. Success! Village Hearth. Because when the bun's that good, everything you put in it just tastes better.
I am here with Weston and Denise Chapman from Black Hills Tire.
We're the neighborhood shop for the whole town because we will pick up and deliver anywhere in town. We will do whatever we can to help anybody.
It's important to us that somebody can say like, hey, my mom needs something. They need this and I know you'll take care of them. I think that means more to us than anything is when somebody will say like, I need somebody in my family taken care of and I know you guys will take care of them. And that's just because that's community to us.
We all help each other out. We can create this community together.
Check us out at blackhillstire.com.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Chance of thunderstorms tonight, otherwise partly cloudy skies. Lows level off around 32. Winds out of the southwest around 5 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies again tomorrow, storms likely. Daytime highs approaching 56. Partly cloudy tomorrow night, slight chance for showers. Lows around 32. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 46 degrees.
Okay, ma'am, just a few rules to follow for your new windows and doors.
Okay.
No washing.
For how long?
Forever. No shades, no furniture within 4 feet of the window.
How am I going to do that?
Yeah, I'd stack your furniture in the center of the room, and after the first rain, stay away from the window.
You're freaking me out.
There's no need to be freaked out about installing new doors or windows. Renewal by Anderson has installed over 100,000 windows and doors.
Oh, and don't lean on the window. We wouldn't want you falling out.
I can't lean against the window?
No, you can lean, just don't put any weight on it.
The guy who sold me the windows didn't tell me that.
Don't know. I'm just a subcontractor for the contractor.
Renewal by Anderson has master craftsmen who follow your job from start to finish.
Oh, and the picture window in the back room, it was an odd size, so we made it a little smaller.
How much smaller?
Yeah, about 5 feet smaller.
Yeah, well, now it's not a picture window.
Well, sure it is, if you hang a picture on it.
Brilliant.
Yep, that's why you pay us the big bucks. By the way, I only take cash.
Make the best decision for your home with exclusive custom-fit Acclaim windows and ensemble doors. Only from Renewal by Anderson. Learn more at rbarapidcity.com.
Where can you get surprisingly great rates on auto and renter's insurance? At State Farm. I'm State Farm Agent Matt McCormick, and I'm your one-stop shop in Rapid City for protecting your car and your stuff for surprisingly great rates. So stop looking around. Call me, State Farm Agent Matt McCormick, for surprisingly great auto and renter's rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk.
All right, let's do this. Wrapping up the Tuesday show. Who's hot and who's not on the Nate Brown Show? Brought to you by the Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet. 2 locations in Brandon and East 10th Street, Sioux Falls. The Pizza Ranch on Fox Sports Radio. Who's hot category? I guess I'm going to give him credit here. My Dukies didn't get him, but I will give you guys credit. Who got the number 1 recruit out of high school basketball today? He's the number 1 ranked senior in the country, and he did the whole, I'm going to take my talents to, anyway. Number 1 senior basketball player in the country, the highest recruit, number 1, chooses Kansas. Tyron Stokes. You'll be watching him. Number 1 senior in the country, consensus favorite to be the number 1 pick in the NBA draft in 2027. Tyron Stokes chooses Kansas, and it was between Kansas and Kentucky. So How much did Kansas pay him? Anyway, in our Pizza Ranch Who's Not category, speaking of money, the Mets have lost 15 out of 17. The Mets have lost 15 out of 17. And I just looked this up. You can get into the Mets-Nationals game Thursday. They play Thursday. Mets-Nationals. You can get you can get a ticket $6. That's like that. That's cheaper than Post 22. Anyway, $6 for the Mets-Nationals Thursday. It's not a good thing. Thanks for listening to the Nate Brown Show, South Dakota Sports Talk Show in the books. Great guest lineup ready to go on a Wednesday tomorrow. And, of course, you can listen to the Nate Brown Show podcast. Download it where you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Amazon. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Mom, can we please go to Watiki Indoor Water Park Resort?
Watiki? What's